Okie dokie. Hello, welcome to another short video installment about our Max Impact Traumatic Brain Injury Assistant from the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs and the Traumatic Brain Injury Council of Washington. In this short presentation, we are going to take a longer look at the relaxation tools. So the first thing, is to look at all those fancy buttons. There's a few ways to get to the relaxation tools. You can go straight there by using the home page button, or you can find your way there by checking in and hold on, I want to stop because that is not reacting the same way I want it to. Did I not do? Okay, that's just a funny one. Those all came up all at once. Wow, I didn't do that very well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start over. We're going to edit, okay?
Okay, so yeah, what I would do is just like start over. We'll cut the first part out.
Yep.
And then we'll do that. So we're still going, so whatever you're comfortable.
Right, okay. So I'm just going to start over, edit. Okay. Hello, and welcome to another short installment about the Max Impact Traumatic Brain Injury Assistant. In this short presentation, we are going to take a longer look at the relaxation tools. I want to remind you that the Max Impact Traumatic Brain Injury Assistant tool is brought to you by the Washington Department of Veterans Affairs and the Traumatic Brain Injury Council of Washington. So to start off with, there is a lot going on with our relaxation tools, and there's a lot of ways to get there. You can go straight there by using the home page button, which you see on the top left of the front page there. You can go. You can also find your way there by using our check-in feature, and it popping up as something to try. Or you can always reach it by tapping the small button at the bottom of the page, as you see right there with the big yellow arrow pointing to the left there. However you get there, you're going to see this particular page. So I'm going to take you through these things step by step. The first thing to look at is the breathing tool. So why is there a breathing tool on an app related to traumatic brain injury? Well, actually, it's pretty simple. You see, folks with traumatic brain injury can get overloaded a lot easier than those folks without a traumatic brain injury. And it can actually be very frustrating because the harder you try and think, the harder it gets to think. And the more that we try and force ourselves to do something, the more we feel like nothing is happening. There's a lot of reasons why this may occur, but the answer is generally the same. It's time to slow down. Once we effectively back off or back away, then we are able to mentally regroup. And the quickest and simplest way to do that is through controlled, regulated, circular breathing. Most of us, most of the time, do not breathe very well. We tend to breathe very shallow and short. So as I'm speaking to you, you can probably see this because I'm taking gulps of air and I am taking just enough to be able to talk to you, and then I'm going to take another gulp of air. Not a very relaxing way of breathing. And certainly if you look at other forms of breathing, like when you're sleeping, we don't do that. Okay, we want to mimic those kinds of breathing that our body says are relaxing to be able to help us relax. So we're kind of try and mimic our sleeping patterns of breathing, which sends our bodies all this kinds of wonderful messages that say, hey, it's time to relax. So when we're anxious, when we become anxious or mad, that shallow, short breathing can be even more rapid and more sharp, right? So if I become anxious or mad, because that's actually sending the other messages to my body, instead of saying relax, like sleep, it's like saying get anxious and get pumped up. So the thing that we always know is that we can't control the world around us, and we really can't even control a lot of our own thoughts because some of them are really, really quick and intrusive. But we can always control our breath. If you want a good example of that, try and hold your breath right now. I mean, you can only hold it for so long, but you can hold your breath. So if we are already kind of set off, you know, our buttons have been pushed, our triggers have been triggered, we could use some help to control our breathing, and that's what this tool is all about. So if we find ourselves overwhelmed or overloaded, our thoughts are often all over the place. We need to focus. And the last thing that our mind is going to let us do is to focus unless we slow down. That's why we have to use all the means at our disposal to intervene and kind of get, knock that path of thinking off of its rails. So Max has both something for your eyes to do. They can watch this little breathing icon get bigger and smaller. It's going to get bigger and say inhale and then exhale. It's got something for your ears to do. Our narrator is going to tell you to inhale, and then we'll count 1, 2, 3, and then exhale, and then counts 1, 2, 3. That actually is going to help keep a lot of those annoying thoughts from intruding on you being able to just focus on your breathing. The best breathing is called circular breathing. Circular breathing means that your out breath is the same as your in breath, it's the same length. Again, it's not something we typically do very naturally, but this app is going to help you engage in that circular breathing. So all you do is you tap that little blue button on the front, and the narrator is going to start you off by asking you to inhale for a count of 5. Well, it probably actually turns out to be 6, because at the top she's going to ask to exhale at the same count. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. So it's really more like 6. As she does, and as you inhale, that little breath icon is going to grow and shrink. Now, you see those plus and minus buttons. You can actually increase or decrease the count by tapping those plus or minus buttons. I personally like to push myself a little bit, and I like to use that highest number of 8. That really kind of kicks me into it. There's a little bit of my mind that wants to say, hey, knock this off, breathe faster, but I really want to be able to find that ability to control my breath. So I like to particularly push myself, but you've got the ability to move that backwards and forwards depending on where you're at. The cool thing about that is that you can use this anywhere. If you find yourself overloaded at the county fair, find a bench, spend a few minutes just breathing. Nobody's going to know. You're just going to sit there. You're going to be looking at your phone like everybody's doing nowadays. But you're just going to be sitting there calmly going, right? And actually being able to engage in some very effective relaxation tools wherever you are, however you are, at the drop of a hat and the push of a button. So our next choice is the meditation section. Now, the word meditation has gotten a bit of a bad rap. All meditation really is a practice like breathing that we just went through that helps quiet the mind. Why is this here? Well, it's the same as before. It's just too easy for the mind of a person with a traumatic brain injury to get all locked up, overloaded, jumbled, bumbled, and all about fumbled. So the best way to get out of this is to take action to quiet the mind, to calm the senses, to give the brain a chance to regroup and recoup. In this section, you're going to have a few choices that may not generally be considered meditation, but they're all here because they're all tools to help you get back on your feet, so to speak, and to give your brain a break. The first one is the panic button. Now, the idea behind the panic button is that there are those times when you've pushed yourself too far and you need a way to step off and pull yourself together. So the narrator is going to take you through, it is going to lead you and soothe you and lead you through some quick breathing and then a really, really short mental break. Don't worry, this is not a long one. You can see that it's very, very short, 5 minutes and 16 seconds. And so there's no chance of you drifting off to sleep. The narrator is actually going to prompt you at the end. This is the idea for this particular button, is that you just need to shut off the world for a little bit, pull yourself together. Your brain while your brain recharges and your nerves calm. This is just a quick way to do that. No frills, no fluff, straight to the point. Okay. The next one, though, is a bit different, and that is that progressive muscle relaxation. Our body's natural reaction to anxiety is to tense our muscles as part of a process that helps our bodies prepare for potentially dangerous situations. Well, sometimes we don't even notice how tense our muscles have become. Perhaps you clench your teeth slightly so your jaw feels tight. Maybe your shoulders will become tense. You'll notice that your shoulders are up by your earlobes. Often we stay really tense, which can lead to muscle aches, muscle pains, as well as us feeling exhausted. So this short meditation will guide you through some very, very common forms of relaxation designed to reduce muscle tension. You can learn to do it yourself, but it is so much easier to have this narrator lead you through the exercises. When you're having trouble sleeping, this can actually be one of those tools that can help. By relaxing our muscles, we can actually tell our body to start to relax and to help us send us off to sleep. The next choice is a bit more what someone might expect from a meditation. This is called a guided meditation. Guided meditations are unique. Basically, it is what it sounds like. You're guided by the narrator to relax, and then she guides you through a nice meditation that takes you to a nice, comfortable place. Now, we know that your brain reacts very positively to meditations like this. The main purpose here is similar to the others in that it is in the relax section and that it is to relax. This is probably one of the strongest forms of relaxation offered in the app. There are volumes of studies documenting the benefits of allowing your brain, your mind to kind of float off into this type of relaxing imagery. Our narrator is going to gently guide you to a relaxing spot where you get to spend some time there, and then she will gently bring you back. This is another way to help you get to sleep, but it can also be a good thing to do in place of sleep. Yeah, you heard me right. So there's plenty of times when you might feel kind of spent, really fatigued, and I don't know about you, but the idea about me taking a nap at my desk is not exactly considered good form. But if I was to go out to take a break and go out to the car or go someplace where I can have a little bit of peace of mind and take 11 minutes and 46 seconds, which is a nice break, I can actually engage in this guided meditation, and it can take me off to that nice little place where I can just be able to relax. And when I come back out of that, oftentimes I'm going to have a lot of the same benefits of having a nap, which, seems like a really great idea in the middle of the day sometimes, but sometimes can be kind of difficult. This is the place where you can get some of those benefits right out of the gate. The next selection is something we call a grounding exercise. Well, what does it mean to be grounded? And when might you need it? So all too often, we can let our minds wander, and all too often, when it wanders, it can get away from us. Meaning that we can wander way back into our past, we can wander way into our future, and that really we can wander into some places that may take us to some dark spots, some anxious spots, some places that we don't necessarily feel like being, and can create anxiety or bad feelings. So the grounding is this ability to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not really going on right now. I am here, I am now, which is always a good thing. I mean, to be able to pull us back to say, okay, I can't deal with all of these things. I can't deal with all of my past and all of my future and my present all at once. I need to focus on one thing only. Grounding brings you back here to give you all the ability to kind of pull all of your mental capabilities into what's going on right here. So if I'm anxious about the future or dwelling on the past, I'm really not grounded. And this is one of the reasons why this exercises are so used with those folks that are dealing with things like PTSD and anxiety. Like the progressive muscle relaxation, it is something that you can learn to do on your own. The app is just going to make it super easy because the narrator is going to guide you through the whole exercise. With enough times, you might find yourself doing some of the techniques throughout your day when you need a little grounding, even without the app. And that is perfectly fine and dandy with us. The next choice is actually one of my favorites, and that is the self-guided meditation. The self-guided meditation actually has more than a few kind of applications to us. The first thing is, first, say what you want, but just kind of relax your eyes for a bit. You don't want anybody to think you're snoozing. You set the timer, you close your eyes, you're still not snoozing. You're meditating. Sure, it may look and feel like you're taking a little snooze, but nope, this is meditating, okay? Plus, that timer will make sure that it doesn't last too long. A slight gong is going to go off when your time is up. So if I want to take I just want to rest my eyes for 5 minutes, and because I've been staring at the computer too long, I've been doing a little too much work, I just want to kind of close things off for a little bit. I can snap this on, plug in my headphones, and just take 5 minutes and just relax. Again, either relaxation section or relaxation purposes. Second, there are times for guided meditation, and there are times to practice quieting your mind yourself. Practice clearing your mind, having gentle focus. This tool can help. So if you are a person that wants to really kind of look more deeply at what's going on in your mind, you put this on, and then you start to watch those thoughts go through and practice blocking them out yourself. Third, even with this gong, this particular part of our application can help you fall asleep, because you set it for a little bit of time. The music is going off. You can plug it into an external speaker, but the bottom line is that this is going to help you relax, and we know that relaxation is one of those things that help somebody fall asleep. There's a lot more here, but there's a lot more here to the app, but I'm going to let you figure that out. For now, that's it for the meditation section, but not for the relaxation section. So let's go back to the front page of the relaxation section so I can tell you more about what's going on. The last section of the relaxation section is something called soothing sounds. You tap this, and you're going to be given a choice of soothing sounds to choose from. Now, the soothing sounds are there for a few reasons. The primary reason is to try and help with tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. Very, very common for folks with the traumatic brain injury, and it can be one of the more annoying symptoms that plague folks with traumatic brain injury. A way to deal with tinnitus is to mask it. If I overlay these sounds with that ringing in my ears, it just becomes less annoying. It will still be there, but my mind won't be so drawn to it. The other thing is that we know that our brains pretty much listen to everything around you. Whether you're conscious of it or not, you're bringing all of that into your head. And this can actually lead to overload, increased distractibility, and decreased concentration. So if you're trying to focus on something, whether it be writing your emails or doing your work or just going around and cleaning up the house, if you're finding yourself more easily distracted and having a problem with concentration, slap on the soothing sounds, because it can, even the sound of a little scratching from the ice cube maker or something like that can pull you away from that. To be able to close those off can actually help you with your concentration and decreased distractibility. A big way to begin to manage these symptoms, all of these symptoms, is to begin to manage your sensory input. I can't speak enough about our abilities to look at our sensory management when we have traumatic brain injury, because that's one of those things that we can really do all around us in terms of colors and smells and sights and sounds to be able to help us with our symptoms. Our world is full of noise, and it's one of those places where technology has actually given us some say over the type of sounds that we expose ourselves to. Now, we know that some of the most relaxing sounds are those that you're going to find on this particular app. Our brain is basically either in a state of being aroused or soothed. Now, arousing the brain takes energy. So in the morning when I'm trying to get going, I need that brain to be aroused. I need to kind of get it going. So I'm taking extra energy to get it fired up and rolling as quickly as I possibly can. Because if I let it go on its own pace, instead of, being ready to go when I need to be at work at 7:30, it's going to say, listen, really, it's more like 10 o'clock for me. I'm like, nope, got to be ready to go. So I got to pour more energy into that brain. Staying in that state, actually, the state of arousal can actually lead to flooding, or that kind of brain overload that people experience from time to time. And that can exacerbate a lot of the symptoms that we're trying to deal with, from distractibility, tinnitus, irritability, you name it, all those symptoms that folks know about with traumatic brain injury. So what we want to do is we want to try and soothe the brain before we get to that point. If we can soothe the brain, that is going to help with mental fatigue, increase concentration, it can delay overload, and help prevent the onset of a lot of other symptoms. If you get to pick the kind of sounds that you're exposed to, pick soothing sounds. So, it gives you the opportunity to make the choice to soothe the brain that'll allow the brain to be aroused in other ways, like with lights and things that you're doing. You can choose how you're going to use that brain energy. So if you're going to choose something, choose to soothe the brain and use the soothing sounds that you find on our app. Once you click the soothing sound, slap on those headphones, choose which sound you want to listen to. The sounds are actually on a loop, but it's very, very cleverly hidden, so you won't be able to tell when it is actually looping. I've heard from a number of folks that they will use it as kind of a white noise when they're trying to sleep. They will rig it to play from an external speaker, and it actually helps drown out some of the noises, like if you're in a hotel or you got some road noise or you got noisy neighbors. It'll help them actually get to and stay asleep. We've heard from another number of folks that they say that it only works until their phone goes to sleep, meaning that their phone kind of, it says that it'll stay on for 30 minutes. Well, that's typically a phone thing, not an app thing. And I say that here because it's something that we're working on. And if that's happening to you, we want to know, because we want to try and identify what phones that is doing that on. So that actually brings us to the end of this brief presentation on the relaxation section of our Max Impact app. There is more to come. We have a few other features that we're going to take a deeper dive into. So if you're interested, look for those videos, and I appreciate you taking the time to check this one out. There's a lot more to this app. You can check out those other videos or go off and explore on your own. Thanks for your attention.